Hey, Shalom Akim. I tried to stay away from this, but I just can't. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Rukakwadash. Double honors once again go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation also goes out to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing his truth throughout the four corners, trying to wake up the remaining, hopefully elect. This is Naaman with the DC camp. Oh man, it's from Mother Jones, man. Wow. Anyway, it says Tommy Tuberville decries reparations as payments for people, and he quotes, people that do the crime. How's that for that broad paint stroke? Paint it with that broad brush. You know what's perhaps the most sickening thing out of this? Well, let's bring up, never trust an enemy, which you have to wonder. Even though our people are under the curses, it's like, damn, all this time you still don't get it. But my thing with this is, here it is as a football coach, all these years, just to think those times that he sat down the parents of Jake in order to convince Jake's parents to let them recruit them and sign with Alabama. Think about that. He sat in Jake's homes, and now to come out, well, let's just, okay, here he is sitting here in the Senate session. All right, piece of shit. Anyway, this is on Saturday. Senator Tommy Tuberville, a Republican from Alabama, implied black Americans were the people that do the crime in comments railing against reparations. Speaking at a Donald Trump rally for Republican candidates in Nevada, Tuberville described Democrats as engaged in a battle to take from so-called white people and give to so-called black people whom he stereotyped as criminals. Democrats aren't soft on crime, they're pro-crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparations because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. You piece of shit. It's so much to go in on this. Don't know that I have the time. But this is the type of people that Jake want and expect justice from. In effect, he just told you all the shit that your ancestors went through at their hands. And as a result, you have the audacity to ask them to pay you. I mean, wow. Don't you see now? Wow, this so-called white man in James 2:13, where it says, he that showed no mercy shall receive no mercy. Let's get Wow. Wow. Yeah, it gets you hot under the collar, it should. But here's the thing, what I mentioned about our people expecting mercy from a piece of shit like this. This is why, when I quoted James 2:13, this is why in the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, it tells you about Edom, and that he is the only nation that will receive no mercy from the Most High. I hope you understand now why we keep telling you this. This is Psalms 43 verse 1, and the heading here is "Send out your light and your truth. Judge me, O Most High Yahweh, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation," which we have been dealing with. These were the low lives. Scriptures describe them as base men. When you go to Job 30th chapter, this is who he's talking about. These are the ones that were chased away from civilized people. All right, and this is how they came to be in the Caucasus mountain regions. All right, read it for yourself. All right, they're a base man. It says, "Oh, deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man." This is who we're dealing with now. They're constantly using Jake as a prop, as a, well, let's just go back to the article. It's going to tell you. This is something that piece of shit Lee Atwater, the Most High took his life. He was in his 40s. I think it was a brain tumor. He laid out the whole strategy, the Southern strategy as it's known. And in fact, while this is loading, let me pull that up. Southern. Let's see. Southern strategy. My goodness. Southern strategy. Okay. In American politics, the Southern strategy was a Republican Party electoral strategy to increase political support among white voters in the South by appealing to racism against so-called African Americans. As the civil rights movement and dismantling of Jim Crow laws in the 50s and 60s visibly deepened existing racial tensions in much of the southern United States, Republican politicians such as presidential candidate Richard Nixon and Senator Barry Goldwater developed strategies that successfully contributed to the political realignment of many white conservative voters in the South who had traditionally supported the Democratic Party. It also helped to push the Republican Party much more to the right relative to the 50s. The phrase Southern strategy refers primarily to top-down narratives of the political realignment of the South, which suggests that Republican leaders consciously appealed to many white Southerners' racial grievances in order to gain their support. So how are they going to do this? This top-down narrative of the Southern strategy is generally believed to be the primary force that transformed Southern politics following the Civil Rights era, because I got it saved somewhere. There's a black and white video from the early 60s, and this white, this Edomite reporter, he's this was after, or in the midst of, I should say, and they're interviewing all of these, redneck fucking Edomites and shit. But one thing I remember specifically from that, when he stated that they learned their lessons from that era, because what happened was, you got to remember the thing with Bull Connors down there in Birmingham, and how sicking the dogs on Jake, and the high-powered water hoses and all that. Those images went around the world, so they had to change up and switch up. And a lot of Jake to this day don't understand that Esau, if nothing else, is one hell of a student. Okay, So they figured out then, God damn it, everybody knows where, fuck. Everybody's gonna feel sorry for these whatever they've called us. So what do we do? God damn it, we gotta. So it doesn't take a genius, which, hey, I am not, but it doesn't take to figure out that these motherfuckers, all their um, laws and everything were geared toward making Jake into the threat. So we will have reason, all right? We would have, why do you think Jake gets shot 40 times and nobody, because I'm reading it to you right now. It's this plan that they developed, this strategy, all right? We got, and it's spread. It's not only the South, that's the, I hope you're picking that up, all right? Because somehow Jake is on that, well, that happened in the South. It's not, no. I did a video, I don't even think it's been 2 weeks now, 2 weeks ago. And it showed you all those laws from the 1600s that were geared toward us and against us. It told you the ones that were in the South, and then it switches to what happened in the North. It's the same fucking thing. So I don't know where this, this myth that everything across above the Mason-Dixon line, so-called, Jake was safe. Hell no. It's this whole stinking fucking country. This wicked-ass country. Even Edomites from across the ocean don't like the American Edomite. What do we tell you? This is all gearing up toward Revelation 17th chapter. Everybody gonna turn on this bitch. Alright? Anyway, continuing on with this Southern strategy, all right, it says the scholarly consensus is that racial conservatism was critical in the post-Civil Rights Act realignment of the Republican and Democratic parties. Though several aspects of this view have been debated by historians and political scientists, the perception that the Republican Party had served as the vehicle of white supremacy in the South, particularly during the Goldwater campaign and the presidential elections of 1968 and 72, made it difficult for the Republican Party to win back the support of black voters in the South in later years, because there were, I believe, in the 30s, there was a switcheroo. All right, you had briefly there what's called the Dixiecrats. All right, but the ideals of these parties switched. All right, when you go back to the 1800s, the Republicans were the ones that a lot of Jakes, went to, which was called, the Lincoln supporters, that sort of thing. And it was the Democrats that were the ones that were the Klansmen and all this shit. I hope you all know that. All right. And I think it was sometime, like I said, in the 30s, sometime in that time frame, maybe 40s, that they did the switcheroo. All right. So anyway, continuing on, shift strategies. Let's see. I think I want to go to, hold on. It says in the mid-90s. Now what I want to get, I'm looking for this Lee Atwater guy, because he lays it down what I'm going into. This is going to be way too long. So what I'm going to do here is go out of here and get another one. Now let's bring this piece of shit up. Lee Atwater. There we go. And he just laid it out. Here it is, motherfuckers, right here. He was work with Reagan. He was Harvey Leroy Lee Atwater. Yep, see? Republican Party. He was an advisor to U.S. Presidents Reagan and George H.W. Bush, and chairman of the Republican National Committee. All right, and here you see Atwater aroused controversy through his aggressive campaign tactics, especially the Southern strategy. Who you think was responsible for that Willie Horton video? All right, there you can see. A lot of you probably remembering that now. Let's see. He grew up in Athens, South Carolina. Okay. I want to get to the good stuff. Let's see. No political career. It says during the 70s and 80s, during the 1970s and 1980 election, Atwater rose to prominence in the South Carolina Republican Party, actively participating in the campaigns of Governor Carroll Campbell and Senator Strom Thurmond. During his years in South Carolina, Atwater became well known for managing hard-edged campaigns based on emotional wedge issues. All right, now let's skip on down. Oh man, that's so good. I'll leave the links to this, of course. Let's see. Let's see. Oliver North. Here it is. During his years in Washington, Atwater became aligned with Vice President George H.W. Bush, who chose Atwater to manage his 1988 presidential campaign. And here's the Southern strategy. As a member of the Reagan administration in 1981, Atwater gave an anonymous interview to political scientist Alexander P. Lamas. Part of the interview was printed in Lamas's book, The Two-Party South, then reprinted in Southern Politics in the 1990s with Atwater's name revealed. Bob Herbert reported on the interview on October 6, 2005. On November 13, 2012, The Nation magazine released a 42-minute audio recording of the interview. James Carter IV, grandson of Jimmy Carter, had asked and been granted access to these tapes. It says Atwater, as to the whole, this is Atwater speaking, as to the whole Southern strategy that Harry S. Dent Sr. and others put together in 1968, opposition to the Voting Rights Act would have been a central part of keeping the South. Now, you don't have to do that. All you need to do to keep the South is for Reagan to run in place on the issues that he's campaigned on since 1964. And that's fiscal conservatism, balancing the budget, cut taxes, you know, the whole cluster. Questioner. But the fact is, isn't it, that Reagan does get to the Wallace voter and to the racist side of the Wallace voter by doing away with legal services by cutting down on food stamps. Atwater. Y'all don't quote me on this. You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger. By 1968, you can't say nigger. That hurts you, backfires. So you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all that stuff. You're getting so abstract now that you're talking about cutting taxes, and all these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and a byproduct of them is that blacks get hurt worse than whites. So he's talking about you had to learn speaking code. All right. He says, and subconsciously maybe that's part of it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if it is getting that abstract and that coded, that we are doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me? Because obviously sitting around saying we want to cut this is much more abstract than even the busing thing, and a hell of a lot more abstract than nigger nigger. So any way you look at it, race is coming on the back burner. Atwater also argued that Reagan did not need to make racial appeal, suggesting that Reagan's issues transcended the racial prism of the Southern strategy. Atwater. But Reagan did not have to do a Southern strategy for two reasons. Number one, race was not a dominant issue. And number two, the mainstream issues in this campaign had been, quote, Southern issues since way back in the 60s. So Reagan goes out and campaigns on the issues of economics and of national defense. The whole campaign was devoid of any kind of racism, any kind of reference. And I'll tell you another thing you all need to think about that even surprised me is the lack of interest, really the lack of knowledge right now in the South among white voters about the Voting Rights Act. So whatever, and here's this motherfucker playing the guitar with George H.W. Bush, piece of shit. Like I said, at 40 years old, he was out of there. All right. But let's go back to the guest of honor here. This piece of shit, Tommy Tuberville. Now I don't know what's happening with okay. For some reason Salaki, I apologize. But, okay. Let's see if we can do it another way. There that demon is again. Alright. Alright. Alright, here we go. I had to go to another one because I don't know what's wrong with where I had it set up, but here it is. You have to understand that even if this were to somehow, some way, try to go through, it's not, they're going to do everything to try to get it in the form of like scholarships. In other words, they're going to try to set it up, if they were to do this, in order for them to get paid. If it's in scholarships, guess what? The money's going to go to eventually, guess what? Back to them. They don't want to cut checks, alright? Because the thing is, like in ancient Egypt, they do not want to let us go. We're too much of we're too profitable to them, in case you hadn't caught on. Alright? That's what the holdup is. That's the real reason there is this resistance. Alright? Because they know we don't, well, where the fuck we gonna go? Alright? Just like in ancient time, nobody wants us. Alright? When the Exodus happened, did nobody want to deal with us? Alright? So we know that, yeah, he says, and you know, it's something to be said about his claim or statement that the Democrats, they are pro-crime, they want crime. Of course, that part is true. Think about it. You have one here with the Republicans. They play this game. That's why we always say this whole setup is against us. They just have different ways of dealing with us between the two parties. The Democrats, you talking about disrespecting Jake and all about setting Jake up, giving Jake all this rope in order to hang so we can hang ourselves. That's been their strategy. You know, Amalek is big with that. Republicans, those you would associate with the Deep South, and that's what it basically comes down to, the difference in the Southern strategy, as we just read, and what they do in the North. Both are no less hurtful and painful, but the South is more direct. Nigger, I don't like you. I'm gonna show you I don't like you. Where up in the North, it's more, you know, what Amalek does. Gets up close to Jake, you know, rubs shoulders and elbows, and Jake gets, you know, well, maybe this motherfucker's gonna do. Now, is it just me, or is that's the motherfucker you want to get your hands around his neck the most? Not saying or advocating doing that, but you know where the Southerners coming from. Okay, I gotta respect that. You don't want to deal with me, I don't want to deal with you, but you got this other motherfucker. Alright, Amalek, or their strategy from the North, yeah, just, you know, play this motherfucker. Alright, so, meaning Jake, you know, and that's what the so-called Jews have always been about. It's about exploiting Jake, you know, working Jake, carrying Jake. Alright, get all you can get out of him. Be nice to him, smile, you know, that type of shit. And a lot of Jake to this day, you know, they think they're gonna play the games, but We don't have that kind of power. Jake doesn't understand that. We don't have power really to do shit. That's what we're out here trying to tell our people to do, to come back. Get yourself right with your power. Not their power that you've been worshiping, but your power, our power. Most High's name is Yahweh, all right? And his son's name is Yahweh Shai. All right, you got to go through Yahweh Shai, all right, first. So when you repent, you repent. That means turn from your wicked ways, don't look back. But you got to understand also that, you're in the flesh. So this is a process. You can't just, I'm not going to, because again, that too, you could be setting yourself up. Like I said, it's a process. All right. So let's see what we got else on this dirt bag. Here he is, red motherfucker. See, his shirt's right. His shirt is white. He's red. All right. Let's point that out. Let's see. In a statement Monday, NAACP President Derek Johnson, I don't know why he gets so excited about, join the NAACP. Well, guess who runs that? Called out Tuberville's remarks as flat out racist. Yes, his words promote a centuries-old lie about black people that throughout history have resulted in the most dangerous policies and violent attacks on our community. We've seen this before from the far right, and we've seen what they can do when they take power. Oh, man. Oh, let's see him. Listen to this mother. I'm not. The fuck? Wait a minute. GOP Representative Don Bacon of Nebraska. Yeah, you got the right name there. Said on NBC News, Meet the Prostitutes, on Sunday that he did not find the comments racist, but said Tuberville needs to be more polite. Well, that just told you that he's in agreement with him. All right, I'm not going to say he's racist, Bacon said, but I wouldn't use that language. Be more polite. What did I say about this? Then I just read you the Southern strategy. Oh, boy. Former South Carolina State Representative Bakari Sellers called out Tuberville for his comments. Tell me, Tuberville can go to hell. The fact is, he made tens of millions of dollars off unpaid black men as a football coach. He literally has the stature he has because people went out there and assumed the risk and incurred the risk of concussions, playing hard and everything. Another thing, what did I just say about motherfucking exploitation of our people? Alright? And you thought that this shit ended. No. They just changed strategy. Alright? Until we're out of here, until we're in the kingdom, and these motherfuckers in chains, then we'll be okay. Alright, then we'll be right. Then everything will be righted. Alright. Hey, so with that, again, this has been on this piece of shit, Senator Tommy Tuberville from Alabama. Alright, he just showed his true colors. So why are you surprised? We keep telling you, never trust your enemy. You don't know who your enemy is by now? Alright? Can't say that we haven't been trying to tell you. At Great Millstone and other Israelite camps that are, of the like doctrine. Alright? But you know what? It's coming up time now. Like I said, playtime is over. So very, very soon here, things are going to drastically change. Because these so-called white people, these Edomites, they can sense that shit ain't right and they're losing their status. And that's never been good for people such as ourselves. Alright, here in this country. Hope you know that. Hope you're figuring that out now. So when this money system, when it switches over to digital, which is the big thing they're trying to do now, all these distractions that are going on. All right. A lot of you, because you didn't pay attention, you're gonna get caught out there. But hey, what can you say? You fan your hand, you call us all kind of, you mocked us, and, but you're gonna find out. Ezekiel 33. Let's go there. I'll close out with this. All right. This is, let me see. I'll start at 31. It says, "And they come unto thee, out there on the highways and byways, as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they shew much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness." You got a few cheerleaders. Some of them even do drive-bys, 32, "And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice," which is entertainment. All right, "and can play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do them not." And here's the point, verse 33. "And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them." Habakkuk 2nd chapter. All right. You don't believe it because it doesn't happen when you think it should happen, not realizing that this is the Most High's. This is the Most High's movie. All right. All right. This is not on your or my time. These things await. Habakkuk 2 says, "Though it tarry, wait for it will surely come." All right. That's a guarantee, a promise. All right. Hey, so with that, once again, we've been talking about this piece of shit here, Tommy Tuberville, excuse me. And a lot of Jakes, for whatever reason, were taken aback. He's just one, what you call, one of those lovable rednecks types, But he's an Edomite. Never trust an enemy. That's what it comes down to. Hey, so with that, until the next video, shalom.